Yo, what is up? What is up? Welcome to the Monday night late stream tonight. Yeah, so got some new news to talk about. A few things. People might get mad, people might be fine about it, people might not. Incorporating some things I already have set for 2 videos tomorrow. So I'll have 2 videos already scheduled. I already have 2 videos scheduled for tomorrow, early morning and obviously middle of the afternoon tomorrow. So appreciate everybody coming into the stream. Pause. And there's a lot to talk about regarding the Eagles and their. It looks like the Eagles are not going to have a home opener. That's what it looks like as of right now. And it doesn't look great. Some people might be mad. Some people might be upset. I don't know. I guess we'll find out. I guess we'll see. But so far, the Philadelphia Eagles are going to have a game in Brazil. Hasn't happened since, I don't know, football hasn't been in Brazil since what, 1970, something like that. And this will count as a home game. They have to choose which team. I forgot who they're facing. I don't know who they're facing. I know it said who they were facing. But the Eagles will have a home game, technically a home game in Brazil for the first game of the season. And at least they're getting this out of the way. A Friday night football game. Friday night, by the way. So, kind of sucks, but I'm glad that this isn't happening in the middle of the season. I'm glad it's happening pretty early. That we don't have to go crazy about it. The last time we had a game was what, in the UK? What was it? The UK in 2020, I think. The last year of Carson. Didn't we play the Jags in the UK or something like that? I think that was the last time. I know, people can't be mad about it. I mean, at the end of the day, it's just everyone's going to think we're getting cheated out of a home opener. But at the end of the day, once we get into another home game, in a couple games later, maybe the next game we have a home game after that. I don't know. So we'll see what happens with that. Home opponents. So far, our home opponents, other than the division, obviously, you have the Browns, Falcons, Jaguars, Steelers, Packers, Panthers. You know what I mean? And who knows? Packers might be. Packers look pretty damn good. Steelers are getting better. Dougie P is coming to Philadelphia once again. And obviously playing the Falcons with a lot of new players on that roster, and see if they actually get a quarterback or what they're doing going into next year. Panthers are kind of rebuilding at this point, and what's going on there, which is pretty cool. And the Eagles hired a new DB coach in Christian Parker. That's been the Denver DB coach for the last 3 seasons. So yet another signing where the Eagles are. Vic Fangio is putting his hands all over this defense when it comes to these hires. He's hiring people that he's been successful with. Now, I don't know if he's worked with him. I don't know if he worked with him because I know that the other guy I wanted was the DB coach in Denver when he was the head coach. Well, maybe he was. I don't know, but maybe he was the DB coach for him in Denver. Maybe. So I'm not sure when he was the head coach in Denver. So I'm not really sure. But I've only heard that the last 3 years he's been with Denver as a DB coach. He's come to the Eagles for the same spot. So, but this might include some trades that come to Philadelphia. Who knows? You know what I mean? They could, maybe a Justin Simmons trade. Maybe they do a Surtain trade. Maybe they get that done. Maybe there's connection with that. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of speculation going on, and I know March is going to be nuts with free agency. We haven't even touched our own roster yet, so there's definitely a lot going on there. So, we'll see. Only time will tell what they're doing. James Bradbury put up this weird thing on IG of him walking out Seattle Stadium with his head down. I don't know what that was about, but we'll see when the time comes. But I'll say hi to everybody in the chats. Go over some of that news. And there's really not much going on besides a DB hire. There's really nothing much going on. I didn't really know even what to talk about today, but I mean, we could just reminisce on everything that's going on and kind of, if you guys have any questions, just let me know. Any information. What's going on? MJ, Ian, Housecat, Sheila Sharp, Greg Miller, Michael Goldberg, Sean 8771, Bluegrass Picker. What's going on? 2 times. Ian 890, Logan Sports, Daniel Barry, Sean, Richie MC. Richie MC says, hey Shakes, did the Eagles pick the right OC? How do you think the Commanders OC will do? I think it's good because I feel like Caleb Williams is going to go to the Commanders at 4th overall, unless they move up. Obviously Caleb Williams, I don't like the kid's attitude, period. I just don't. And then there was the rumors that he wanted like a share of ownership percentage of the actual franchise of wherever he goes. Like, I don't know who this guy thinks he is, but Eric Bieniemy, it looks like he made a lateral move to Washington to become the head coach, apparently, and looks like he's kicked out. Dan Quinn is the new head coach and now hiring Cliff Kingsbury, which I think is a really good signing for them, and I think it gives them perfect position to go draft the quarterback that they need. Think there's a lot of good things to take out of it, but we'll see. Wayne says, hey, Shakes, are you going to be a Philly fan for the USFL? So is the Philadelphia Stars technically going to be in the USFL or the UFL? It's not the USFL. It's the UFL now. I would love to do it. I would love to cover them. Torvald says, the bad thing about having a first ever in the country overseas, usually the fields aren't in football shape. It might be worse than MetLife. I really hope not. I would hopefully they update that shit. I don't know, like, if they're gonna. I mean, they're probably gonna change the field most likely. But you don't want to get injuries anywhere else. And trust me, it's already enough. We have to play at play on that damn field. It gets everybody hurt. Reggie says, kind of worried like last Brazil NFL game attempt, the field service was too poor. I guess that's what everyone's saying. I hope it's changed. Ian 890 says, Patrick's for saying the Philly. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. They didn't budge. Denver didn't budge to trade him by the trade deadline last year. And maybe they will. I don't know. It really depends what the Eagles want to do. If they want a corner for the future or a corner that's still young going on to a second contract, and they want to pay somebody big money, I just don't know if the Eagles are going to get that deep of a hole at cornerback in free agency. Whether it's Jalen Johnson that wants so much money from Chicago, or it's going to be L'Jarius Sneed from KC. I don't think the Eagles dump themselves in that hole again when it comes to free agent cornerbacks. I just don't think it happens. I hope not, but, I'm not a big fan of dumping in the free agency again for cornerbacks. I'm just not interested. Brady said, Eagles have no draft. That says that the Broncos want to trade for Surtain, unless it will be 2 firsts and a third. Maybe Dickerson in the 22nd in the 24 draft could get them Packers retained. It's going to cost a lot. I don't think it's going to be easy at all. Yeah, I didn't see the UFL have the Philly team. When they showed all the teams, I didn't see Philadelphia, so you could be right. It kind of sucks. Stupid Flowers says, Nathan, get real. They won't give up for him less than that. At least 2 1s and a player. Yeah. Patrick Queen would be great. I would love it, but he's gonna be expensive. He's gonna be a lot of money. So technically, like literally, I mean, Hassan Reddick needs to be extended. You extend Hassan Reddick, you save $11 million. You get rid of Byard. You cut Byard post June. That's $14 million. Reddick $11 million if you say extend him. Avonte Maddox post June $7.1 million. I mean, you could save almost. I mean, seriously, you can have over $50 million in cap space, and obviously that money will go towards your defense. The Eagles never have that much money. They could have that much money, but you're not keeping Hassan Reddick at a $21 million cap hit this year. You're not keeping. I mean, you're going to extend Reddick, obviously, so that cap number is a lot lower. The dead cap number is a lot lower. The cap hit is a lot lower than that. But you're not going to hold on to Avonte Maddox at a $10 million cap hit. It's not going to happen. Sean says, Joey, is Bradbury going to be cut or will he stay for 1 year? I think he's getting cut. I don't think he's going to be here. I don't think Fangio likes him. And I feel Slay will be here more than Bradbury. If you're going to draft your number one guy, you draft your number one guy, have him be with Slay for the year, and let Slay walk. but they need to start producing a lot of other people, because I think one of my favorite guys in the secondary I'm excited to see and watch play as the future nickel is going to be, it's going to be Isaiah Rodgers, coming off that gambling issue. He was suspended for the whole year. I'm excited for him to see what he does. Very excited for him. McPherson is still on contract, obviously. I don't see Surtain going to the Eagles. Eagles have a low first round at 22, and Denver will want more than that, and the Eagles need to draft picks to address a lot of needs. True. No, you don't trade Dickerson. No, might as well cut your own arm off at that point. Let's see. If you hope we draft a high scouted cornerback, cut Bradbury, keep Slay one more year, get a linebacker. Yeah. Get linebacker, get safety. Your defensive line's a whole nother story, too. They need an edge rusher. They need depth at defensive tackle, since Fletcher's probably not going to come back. Nolan Smith's not ready yet, and hopefully makes a big year in year 2. And I blame the coaching staff for how they brought him along, because Desai never played him during the year. You know what I mean? Josh Sweat is on the last year of his contract. It's a lot of, bringing Brandon Graham back might be a big fucking waste of time at this point. I mean, emotionally, because he's an Eagle his whole career, I get it, but is he going to produce for us? Like, we have to be realistic here. He's a leader. I get it. But do you just bring a guy back that's not going to do much production just because he's been here a long time and he's a big leader? I don't know. Can Josh Sweat even be in pass coverage this year? If you have four linebackers at this point with a 3-man pass rush, I mean, can Josh Sweat actually do that? Nolan Smith, I think this would be perfect for him. Jordan Davis, he'll go back to the nose position, which that's his original spot. I think he'll thrive in that. So, we'll see. Aiden says, what cornerback would you want in round 1? I'm looking at one of the Alabama guys. One of those two. And Kool-Aid McKinstry and Carrion. One of those two. But I don't know if at 22 you're going to be able to get either one of those guys. That's the only problem right now that I have. I don't know what they're doing. I mean, I don't know. If they sign a corner or trade for one, then obviously this whole thing changes during the draft. What they do in free agency is going to designate what they do in the draft. So we'll see. Yeah, I think Rodgers, I don't think you re-sign Boston Scott back. I think Isaiah Rodgers is going to be a great special teamer for us. So I think that's going to happen, no doubt. Thomas, if we do what we know we should do, then we'll either pick up Antoine Winfield Jr. or Patrick Queen, and then drafting cornerback and linebacker safety in the draft. Yeah, I mean, I feel like they could pay one guy. If they go over $50 million in cap space, I think they can afford to sign a big-time safety, big-time linebacker, one of the two, and then go into the draft and kind of fill that out. But there are some mid-tier guys out there as well. Patrick Queen would be my number one guy, but there's going to be a lot of teams going after him. Andrew Van Ginkel's a really good fit because he was successful in Vic Fangio's system last year, but the problem is he's 29 years old. So do you want to pay a linebacker at 29, a lot of money? You're almost hitting the 30, the 30 age mark there. So I don't know if you're going to do that. Willie Gay's a free agent as well. So we'll see. Tommy says we need to keep Swift and use him correctly. I hope so. I hope so. I mean, I don't know what they're doing. No, Levante David's he's way too old. He's way too old. He's like 33, dude. I love Levante David played really good last year, man. He had 32, 33 years old. He's playing very well. But for a future, for someone for the future, I don't think you sign him. Antonio Holmes says you bring back BG. He did produce. I'm like, yeah, I got some pressures and stuff, but I don't know if he fits Fangio's scheme. That's all I'm saying. Like, I don't know if he's going to be able to fit Fangio's scheme. So, Kool-Aid. Nick says met James Bradbury at the gym and he said he'd be here, so I'm pretty sure he ain't leaving. Oh, yeah? Did you meet him at the gym? Well, I am 33. Yes, I am 33. But for a linebacker, you could play linebacker at that age. You could play into linebacker in your 30s. Evans has been watching you since draft 2021. Love the content consistency. Go, bro. I appreciate so much, Evan. Appreciate so much. We'll have a lot of content. This coming off season, no doubt. Sean said, Joey, I think Kool-Aid is a generational type cornerback. We need to get the Kool-Aid man in Philly. I heard that Terrion is. I heard that he's more athletic than Kool-Aid. Maybe Kool-Aid is not as athletic as Terrion Arnold is. But we'll see though. See. Tyler says the pass rush needs to be better rotation. Joey says the boys were gassed in like 22. They had a ton of rotation. Yeah, I mean they need a better. They didn't really do well with the rotation at the end of the year either. Rotation wasn't great, but the whole year hasn't really been great. We had some fourth quarter stops, but so we'll see. Mike says Levanta David. Bryce says I really like the edge from UCLA. I can't say that guy's name either. Latu, if they really want that position in the draft. Yeah, he'll be a first round pick this year. I think passing on Hamilton was a huge miss. I know a lot of people are saying that. So is Brian Branch. Trust me. But it doesn't matter if we missed on him, because would he actually produce in this horrible scheme and not producing players and not using players to their strengths? It doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter. This scheme affects everybody, and if you're not used the right way, it doesn't matter what type of name you have in the secondary. It's not going to matter. Rigo says, let Vic pick the defensive players. I would do, yeah, I think there's gonna be a collaborative effort, but I think he's gonna have a lot of say into, of course he's gonna have a lot of say into what he wants. The Eagles front office, the Eagles organization, they respect Vic Fangio so much. You know how fast it was for him to sign here? The only reason why Fangio left was because he thought Gannon was staying. He left 2 weeks before the Super Bowl to go visit some teams and sign with Miami because he thought Gannon was staying. Aiden says, when will your reactions to draft prospects start? Probably this week. I don't know when this week, but probably middle to late this week. By Wednesday to Friday, I will have draft highlight reactions to players, and I'll get my list out and do some things. Definitely pick up a membership. The only way you see those draft highlight reactions is picking up a membership in the pinned comment above. So make sure you get a membership, $2. It's all costs, just for some extra content. If you want to do it, and you don't have to do it. It's just for extra content if you want. Who are they most likely to keep? BG Byard or Bradbury? Probably BG. If you're giving me an option, it's probably BG. Byard's a cap casualty. I mean, $14 million. They got to cut him. They got to cut him. You know, he's hitting 30. He's 30 years old. What is Byard, like 30 right now? I don't think he's a future piece for us. I think he was a nice added piece for us this year, but just was a total failure. Probably not his fault. Obviously, a lot of these players have failed this year. But we'll see. If you gave me the choice. Said, I think missing on Branch was a bigger miss than Hamilton. Davis' size speed was worth the risk of drafting, but Nolan Smith was a project because he is a tweener who will take a few years to grow. I don't think it's going to take as long as everybody thinks. I think it only looks like that as of right now because of just the way they used him. And plus, he was hurt coming out of training camp, and then he barely got playing time. He played some special teams, they had him listed as a Sam linebacker for like 6 weeks. Never really played him. Derek Barnett was taking a lot of snaps away from him. We got no production. I can't put it all on Nolan Smith in his rookie year when he's barely even playing, barely in a rotation, and needs to bulk up a little bit and work on some things. I think he needs another offseason, and it's a first-round pick, man. There's definitely something there with him, but Fangio, I think, will get the best out of him as an outside linebacker as well, because I think he brings more to the table. With his athleticism is off the charts. So I'm having a lot of faith in Nolan Smith going into his second year. I really do. With an absolute stud at defensive coordinator, not my favorite scheme, but I think there's good things, to take out of it though. We got a super chat from Shane. Thank you so much, man. Says, up, Joey. I really want to re-sign Swift, but if it doesn't end up happening, what would you want to do for the running back room? I mean, at this point, you're either going to sign a free agent if you don't get Swift. And trust me, the number one thing they need to do is re-sign DeAndre Swift, okay? If if Kellen Moore worked with Eckler as his running back, as his natural pass catcher, which I think DeAndre Swift is way faster, way better, turn of direction, stop on a dime, go 100%. I think signing, okay, I think Swift re-signing is the number one thing they got to do. Okay, underutilized, just hitting over 1,000 yards, second to the last game of the season. It's fucking criminal. Okay, you know, Antonio Gibson, I like as a free agent from Washington. I think he fits what we do. I've always liked him. And you know, unless they want to get somebody in the mid rounds that's good behind this offensive line, that's quick and open space. I know they looked at the guy from New Hampshire. They looked at some quick natural pass catchers. Nick Laub or whatever his name is. There's a few guys they've looked at. They're looking at some speedy running backs, open space, natural pass catching running backs. That's what they've kind of been looking at for a bit. So, you know, we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. I would just resign one of those guys. I just need to know what the money's going to look like, you know? Sean says, Joe, if you had to retake the Eagles draft in 20, would you take Jordan Davis or Kyle Hamilton? Kyle Hamilton is all pro safety that can play all over the field. Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, look at it this way. Like, I have to say, would Kyle Hamilton would have worked out in a bad scheme? That's what I'm saying. Like, you can get the best player, but if you're not using them the right way, they're a total waste. That's what I'm saying. I've been saying this the whole time. Like, yeah, I mean, I like Kyle Hamilton a lot, but I like the Jordan Davis pick because there's something there with him. The way going into Jordan Davis going to his second year, who would have thought he would have been a good pass rusher? And he did, and he kind of fell off. And I think he got really tired. I think he just got really tired. I think he got a lot of snaps. I don't think the rotation was good. There was a couple games at the end of the year, the last 6 games, a couple games, I think Jalen Carter only had like 21 snaps. He needs more snaps, dude. I mean, the rotation was just bad enough. But even if you take the best player, if I got Patrick Peterson in his prime right now as the number 1 cornerback, like playing this scheme and not being coached the right way, he's not going to be a great player here. Just the way Justin Jefferson probably wouldn't have been a great player here with the scheme we had offensively. I mean, seriously, like DK Metcalf, I mean, all these players we've passed on, there's always going to be those players we pass on and look good somewhere else, but we don't run a competent offense. We don't run a competent defense. That's the shit that, you know, that's what I go crazy about. Floyd D says, so many running backs and free agents get ahead of it and sign Swift now for a 3-year deal. That's what I'm saying, dude. I don't think you can go, if you're not going to draft a running back high, you're not even going to draft a running back in the second round. You're not doing that again. So go out and re-sign DeAndre Swift. I'm really hoping he comes back. It sounds like, I don't know if he might come back, but I know he had a lot to say of how they fell off, and he blamed himself and the players on the field, and that's what they're going to say. They're not going to point at the coaches. They're not going to throw coaches under the bus. Yeah, Devin White fell off, Dominic. I don't know. Devin White fell off this year. I'm hoping to God that they sign Mike Caldwell. Mike Caldwell has 16 years of experience with linebackers and with defenses in general. Not a great DC, but a linebackers coach. He's the one that produced Levante David and Devin White, especially when Devin White was drafted. Levante David was drafted. He was the one that produced those guys. Mike Caldwell, I hope to God gets the linebacker job. I'm really hoping he does. That's a big win. I know Joe Barry has 22 years in the NFL, has done really well at linebackers. He was a linebacker coach with the Rams when they won the Super Bowl for 4 years before he became the DC. So Mike Caldwell and Joe Barry have not been good DCs in their careers. They've been very good linebacker coaches. They've produced linebackers very well during those times. Because I've been watching this for 13 minutes, and this whole time I thought this was Philly 500 until now. Do we look alike? I don't know. I don't think we do, but I mean, is that a compliment? I don't know. Nate says, anybody catch Goodell's presser today? Worthless because you couldn't hear the questions. I hate that, especially certain Eagles press conferences as well. Evan says, do you still believe in Hurts compared to the end of last year? Hurts did not look close to a $60 million a year to me this year. I'm going to tell you something. Okay. I allow Hurts to play like the way he did, and I don't like it. When the leaks were coming out that Hurts was not connected to Nick, and when he was trying to like change the offense, Nick wouldn't change the offense. That was the leaks that came out, that him, Brian Johnson, Nick didn't see eye to eye, and that's a problem. How does your offense not change during the gauntlet? How do you not put up more points in the first half? Why do you put the team on Jalen Hurts' back every single game? I mean, Jalen Hurts is making the throws, but at the end of the day, like, I mean, it's just not helping. These route combinations, the way how everybody is playing around him, the coaches that he has to deal with. I can't put too much on Jalen Hurts. I fight with people left and right about it. You know, I fight people left and right about it. It's not right. I hate fighting with people about it, but you know, one bad year, you know, like a bad year, not even with good coaching. And putting and using players to his disposal. Not even that, but you ran Jalen Hurts so much with the ball in his hands early in the year, you got his knee all fucked up, and then you had to strictly put him as a fucking, and which he did play well in the pocket earlier in the season, but it's going to catch up to you once in a while. The Eagles made no adjustments. The audibles that Jalen Hurts made were questionable, where it was like 3rd and short and you want to throw a bomb downfield. That they had certain plays for, even like Seattle, the last play against Seattle, where they threw an under pass to A.J. Brown. They threw it under, and they did it for a PI call. Like it's not even like you got a flag off the line and had a free play. Like you had a play in place to get a flag. Like you got a PI call throw. That's what you tried to do. And like, there was just a lot of horrible things happen. No quarterback would thrive with this coaching staff last year. I'm sorry, but nobody would. I don't care what you say. You know, I believe in Jalen Hurts a lot, you know. Todd says, yeah, Joe, I don't like the bend, don't break defense. This scheme sucks. Well, this is the best guy to do the defense. This is the bend, don't ever break defense. For some reason, Vic Fangio needs... This scheme works. The problem is that teams have figured this scheme out the past 11, 15 years. Okay? Teams have figured this scheme out. But Fangio needs the right players to run the scheme. He can't just take over this roster and just be like, yep, we don't need to get anybody. We'll keep Bradbury. We'll keep this one. We'll keep that one. And act like if you don't have the skill set, you know, bad tackling. I mean, seriously, you saw what happened last year. Desai looked like the better DC last year than Patricia, because holy shit, did that mess up the whole team. You know what I mean? Totally messed everything up. But Eagles need to develop Ojomo. I think the kid can play. Give Ojomo more snaps. Take a little less off Davis's plate. Davis is going to have to get better in shape, though. Yeah, I mean, I think that's going to be what... Yeah, he's got to be in more shape, no doubt. Got to be in more shape. Jones says Devin White looks slow and out of shape, lost his job. It might be. So we know all the information. Lassay says, Joey, stop skipping over my comments, my dude. I said I think we're getting Mike Zimmer. He knows how to slow the Niners. What's your thoughts? I mean, we haven't seen... When's the last time he coached? I mean, he coached... Wasn't he a defensive assistant for the Cowboys for a lot of years? Like, I forgot how about, like 6 years, something like that. I think Zimmer... would be a good hire for the Cowboys. Now, I don't know what assistants he's going to hire. It depends if Al Harris or some of the other guys. I know Dan Quinn has been taking all the assistants with him to Washington. But, you know, I think they're going to either hire Wink or they're going to hire Mike Zimmer. I mean, or obviously Ron Rivera. One of the three. It's going to happen. Zimmer has a lot of ties to the Cowboys, too. So, I mean, it probably makes more sense. But... You know, we'll see. We'll see, man. You know? I don't know, because Mike Zimmer hasn't coached in a while. You know, I get it, you know? Even Robert Rivera, I mean, sorry, Robert Rivera. Ron Rivera hasn't coached the Washington, even didn't coach the Washington defense the last 3 years. You know? So we'll see. Lawsuit coming. The super chat, thank you so much, man. It says Hollywood Brown as a slot. Don't think it'll cost a lot. I don't think so either, bro. I don't. Wide receiver 3 is interesting. I do like a lot of guys, especially that kid from Georgia. I really McConkey. I really do like him a lot. I think he could be a mid-round steal for the Eagles. You know, I would love to produce a wide receiver 3 for 4 years. I would love it. That can instantly come in, not get so much attention, but, you know, have that speed and that route running capability, because I'm tired of guys just having speed. The Quez Watkins, the Shelton Gibsons, guys that just have speed, can't depend on them and on 50-50 ball catches and open space. And I think whether you go into the draft, and I think obviously I like Hollywood Brown be like my top guy. Unless you want more of a vet and Tyler Boyd or something like that. I don't think they go in that direction. Maybe they do, but I doubt it. But I think, you know, as slippery as Hollywood Brown could be in the slot, won't get too much attention because you have 2 number 1s with Dallas Goedert there. We know that Kellen Moore really likes to use tight ends a lot, and we're gonna see a lot of production from Dallas Goedert. And we don't have a number 2 fucking tight end right now because this coaching staff are a bunch of idiots. You trade for Albert O, do nothing with him. Jack Stahl had 5 catches this year, and Calcaterra's got an injury problem that's still on the roster. So I don't know. You keep 4 tight ends, you don't even know who your number 2 is. They had no idea who their number 2 was. But I don't think Hollywood Brown would cost a lot at all. Appreciate the super, by the way, man. Rio says the style of defense that knocked out Purdy. That's funny. As I was watching Hurts 21 highlights, dude was slowed down a lot, even though even before the injury, he seemed much slower, much better passer now, but I still think his running ability is slightly overrated. I don't think it is. I think that knee injury how can you say that, dude? Like that knee injury messed everything up, dude. That knee injury kept him that's the Eagles. I mean, that's the coaching staff. They ran with him so much in that offense. These QB draws, they did it so much. You know, they got him fucking hurt. I mean, how are you supposed to, you know what I mean? That's their issue. That's their fault for having Jalen Hurts. We're missing that element from Jalen Hurts, that dual threat essence that we usually have. And we didn't have it because that knee injury slowed him down. I just don't think it's overrated at all. Billy D says, what does Fangio's resume say helping developing young players? His resume helping... I mean, look, there's all these rumors coming out about how players don't like Fangio. There's a lot. I think Patrick Willis, man, like one of like the top linebackers ever in the game. Like Vic Fangio has been one of his best coaches. I don't think a lot of these players nowadays, this new era of kids coming out of the draft, I don't think half these guys can handle certain things that they're in. I feel like when they have too much of everything, they start to decline. And when they don't have enough of everything, they start to, complain. And I think that's the new era of how players go. But there's a lot of players, I think, that totally respect him. I mean, if they didn't respect him, they wouldn't play that great. Maybe they practice a little harder, but who cares? The Eagles need to practice hard. Look, Javon Hargrave says the Eagles practices are just like the most relaxing, comfortable practices, and how the 49ers are more demanding during their practices. There's a lot of things that have to change this year. I think as of resume, I think Fangio gets the best out of his players. And I think number 2, it's accountability. Fundamentals that, Sirianni promised us since he's been here as the head coach. And we didn't get no fundamentals. Like, really? No. How do you expect your players to play even harder if you're not making adjustments every single week? Sleepy Fire says Joey has Hurts hit his ceiling. No, not at all. But I heard a rumor that one of our defensive players didn't even want to talk to Desai as the year went on. Yeah, apparently there was rumors about Desai, and there was a lot of communication issues with Desai that a lot of players were turned off by him during the year, unfortunately. And I can believe that. I don't see why that would be a bad rumor, but I could see that being what it is. Aaron Tuck says, I feel like no one is talking about how Kellen Moore uses tight ends. Big year for Goddard, and you think we draft one usually around the time we do draft the replacement tight end. Yeah, I mean, they could. I don't know if they have the number 2 guy, because this is how you supposed to evaluate your roster when you played in 2 flawed systems, offensively and defensively. How do the Eagles look at the roster and say, I mean, seriously, every player played soft defensively. Every player couldn't tackle. It's how you practice that goes into these games. It's how these fucking joint practices, they need to stop. They need to bring minicamp back. They need to stop valuing the joint practices over the preseason games. Stop giving these guys a fucking game, not even a game, a series together. There's no gelling. There's not enough time together. A lot of things have to change. That tight end position, I mean, we just have to know that Dallas Goedert's going to be out 4 to 5 games every year, because that's just what happens. This year wasn't his fault. Someone broke his forearm. It is what it is. But Dallas Goedert's going to be refreshed. I don't know. Now Albert O is a free agent. Jack Stahl is a free agent. You have Grant Calcaterra, and that's it. There's nothing else. You might have to draft another guy. Maybe. I don't know. You might have to. What's going on, D? I think Brown would work great in Moore's system. No, I agree. They need a twitchy guy on the inside. That guy from Georgia, I really like. McConkey or whatever his name is. That guy, whew, man, that guy's looking good. This combine's really good, man. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. I like Cooper more because of his size. I like him more of his size, and I think he just plays a little bit better. Trotter, unfortunately, is pretty much another Nakobe Dean size type linebacker. I think he brings a little bit more aggressiveness, but I feel like you need that 6'3", 230-pound linebacker. You really do. You need a bigger linebacker. If they end up getting another linebacker and drafting him, I would be perfectly fine with that. I think a lot of Eagle fans are fixated on the name more than what he does. I think that's just what. Matt says Johnson gone, Jalen's MVP season incoming. I really hope so, bro. I really hope so. Dominic Manini says, any chance that Chauncey Gardner-Johnson wanting to come back to Philly? I don't really think he would consider it. I don't know. He's going to be cheap. He was out almost the whole year. I mean, he missed a lot of time this year. He's going to be cheap. I don't know if Detroit is ready to put money into him off of an injury. With a lot of guys are going to have to lock up for the future. There's money that they need to save. There's money that they need to keep in contention for other guys they need to lock up. You build your roster. You start locking guys up to build around offensively and defensively. Kind of like what the Eagles did a few years ago when locking up Mulata and Maddox and Goddard and all these guys. Josh Sweat. You lock up a bunch of guys and then you start building around those guys. And I think, I think it's more been like Chauncey's only been talking shit about Philly when it came to the fans because the fans attacked him when he signed with the Lions. I think the fans made it that way. I don't know if they're going to pay a big time safety, Antoine Winfield. I don't know if they're going to pay for a big time guy like that. I don't know. Xavier McKinney's another one that they could get as well. We'll see what happens. McConkey, the next Wes Welker. Probably faster. Probably as fast, maybe. Probably right. Breaking ankles, dude. I want a route running nightmare. I mean, that's what I want. More than speed, because the speed only takes you so far. You could run in a straight line as fast as you can than somebody else, but if somebody else has the better route running capability, I mean, it's almost night and day. Bring in Schultz. He will be back with more as well. Is Schultz a free agent from Houston? Antonio says if he is cheap, then Detroit will re-sign him because he is cheap. Yeah, maybe. We'll see what happens. It's gonna be exciting. I can't wait. I can't wait to see who gets re-signed. It's always we'll see what happens. Carlos Ducey, would you like to see us get a fullback to possibly help in short yard situation, pass protection first? Yeah, I would definitely like that. I wonder if Moore is going to incorporate that. I know he did a little bit in Dallas, but not as much. Even last year, I don't think he did much of it. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I've seen him line up Keenan Allen in the backfield with Eckler. I've seen him do a lot of different things. He says they need at least one big time safety. Yeah, they need to sign to big money, in my opinion. I think you're right, Nathan. I think they need to sign big money to safety or big money to linebacker. Let's see. Jonas says, "Hey Joey, the guy from Denver is going to be our next DB's coach." Yeah, so it's Christian Parker. Christian Parker is the next DB coach for the Eagles. And I don't know how Fangio was he on the. I don't know if he was on the roster. I don't know if Christian Parker was on the roster, was on the coaching staff when Fangio was the head coach. I'm not sure. I know he's been the defense. I know he's been the coordinator for the last 3 years. I mean, sorry, the DB coach the last 3 years at Denver. So we'll see. And he says, do you pick up Smith's fifth-year option, or do you re-sign him this year? I think you pick up his fifth year. You could pick up his fifth-year option and just wait. I mean, as long as you pick up the option, you're fine. Like, they don't have to re-sign him. I mean, they're going to re-sign him this year. You pick up the fifth-year option. Pick up the fifth-year option will tell us that they're going to be working on they're going to pick up his option. They're not going to play him on the option. They're going to re-sign and pick up the option, then re-sign him, redo his contract, no doubt. Give him an extension. It's going to happen. So just give it time. But at least if you pick up the option, then they have some breathing room down the road of the season to re-sign him if they want. So Dade says hands are still start number one for any wide receiver. Eagles have to have learned that lesson over 20 years. Come on. I agree with you on X McKinney. This is who I want at safety. Yeah, Xavier would fit well. I mean, that's the problem. The problem is, like, who's the safety that's going to be signed first to a team, and then how much money? If the market starts going up, it depends how the market goes. If one safety gets paid this amount of money, Xavier's is going to say, oh man, if I'm going to sign with the Eagles, I'm going to ask for this much. So you might tell his agent, hey, I want to make this much per year. So we'll see what happens. But we've seen the safety market fall down a little bit. I think last offseason it kind of fell down a little bit. All right, I didn't know Schultz was a free agent. How old is Dalton Schultz anyway? Tay says, I'm just happy Kelsey will be with us another year. Yeah, I think it's looking that way. I think it's looking that way that he will be with us for another year. I think it will be. We got 300 people in the chat. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you like the stream. Like it up like crazy. Let's try to get 200 likes. Let's get those likes up like crazy. Check out the pinned comment for draft highlight reactions. We'll be starting later this week. Get yourself a membership as low as $2 just for some extra content. If you want it, it's there. Make sure you subscribe if you're new. Eagles every day. Carlos says, I like the guy from Atlanta, Tyler Aguilar. I need to check him out. Donkey Butter says, Joey, you think Ringo is our corner? Our number 2? I think there's promise that he can be, but I need to see more. I thought he played 2 really good games going into, when Matt Patricia took over. I thought he played 2 really good games. I thought he played really well. Had some breakup passes, did some good things. But I think, like, why are you putting Eli Ricks on the inside? Like, I thought they totally put so many guys out of position. This is what happens when your nickel corner spot is completely a liability. When you lose Maddox, you lose Zach McPherson as your backup. I think these guys I think there's really good, depth at that position with Isaiah Rodgers coming in too. I think it looks really good, promising. We'll see. Sleepy says, Joey, turn off your ads, please. I know you're going to pay for that Jeep somehow, but I'm trying to listen to you talk. I keep getting interrupted. That's what happens, bro. The Jeep is doing good. MG says, would you draft the D lineman from Texas with the 22nd if the cornerbacks are off the board? I feel like it's tough for me because I feel like they have to go trenches like badly. I don't know if free agency is going to be enough. I still think they need another edge rusher. You need another edge rusher because Josh Sweat's a free agent after this year. You need another edge rusher because Nolan Smith hasn't been produced yet. You need another edge rusher because just because. I mean, you're getting really low at that position, and Brandon Graham comes back for one more year. It's one more year. There's no future at that position right now until I see more. They need Fangio needs somebody on the edge. So Fangio needs someone that's going to be disruptive, whether they move to an outside linebacker to where you come as a linebacker up to the line and just be disruptive is crazy. I mean, third and pressures that Vic Fangio had with a bend don't break system, it sounds pretty damn good. Not a fan of obviously the scheme, but he still got, he had his pressure rate was third in the league, which was awesome. Rio says, do we get a quarterback 2 or move McKee in that spot? I don't know what they want. I honestly don't know. $5 million. That's why I hate paying backup quarterbacks. Like, it's just because Mariota was horrible. I think we knew that. We saw that in preseason. And then when he took over, I forgot what game he took over. First play, throw a screen pass that got fucking picked. I mean, I forgot what game that was, but that was just insane. I mean, I'm not a fan of keeping Mariota. I wasn't a fan of keeping Mariota. I mean, $5 million just to sit on the bench all. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, McKee had some good games, but it wasn't enough for him to be a backup. I don't know. Lawsuit coming with the super chat. Thank you so much, man. It's just seen Kenny Moore. Will be Kenny Moore's getting up there in age, though. He's getting up there in age. He'd be a great nickel for us. But Kenny Moore's getting up there in age. That's just the problem with his age. I think he's like 28, 29, something like that. So I wanted him. I honestly wanted him this last off season. But he stayed with the Colts, though. Are you pumped for Eagles Brazil game in versus Green Bay? Yeah, I don't mind it. Like, you know what? Get this game out of the way. It's a Friday night game. Oh, it's going to be so nice to have a primetime game. No work the next day. It's going to be so great. Wayne Grant says, hey, Shakes, I want to hear your thoughts on Apollo Creed, Carl. Oh, man, dude. Like, obviously the Rocky movies, Predator, even in Star Wars. I'm a huge Star Wars fan. The Mandalorian has been fantastic as the magistrate in that series. It's unfortunate and it sucks, man. It sucks. It's he'll definitely be remembered, no doubt. It was very surprising. I didn't expect it. Rest in power, man. Or Joe, do you think Eagles will take a center? This year, probably not. I'd say Kelsey's staying, and we'll still have our original line that we had last year. So I don't think anything's gonna, unless if he retires, then yeah, they might have to look at right guard more than center if Kelsey retires. Baldy with the super chat. Thank you so much, man. It says Burns 5-year backload deal. Reddick 3-year big guarantee. I mean, look, at the end of the day, like, Brian Burns had a lot of interest in him at the trade deadline, but Reddick gets extended, you could save $11 million. Like, you can't. This is your best defensive line. This is your best guy on your defense, pretty much. I'm excited to see how they use him. I don't think 2 double-digit sack seasons with the Eagles the last couple years. I mean, you can't get rid of a guy like that. Before he got here, he had 3 double-digit sack seasons. I mean, you don't just get that for no reason. Yeah, and sometimes Reddick is very streaky. Like, 1 month he'll have no sacks, the next month he'll have like 6, 7. But he could have had a lot more. And yeah, you use your best defensive lineman, your best edge rusher in pass coverage. It's unfortunate. It sucks. That is what it is. Appreciate the super chat, by the way. David Count says, when it comes to the corners, don't forget about the guy we got from Indianapolis Colts. The 1-year suspension could definitely pay. Oh, yeah. Like I just talked about him a million times. Isaiah Rodgers, man. I'm very excited about him. This is going to get Avonte Maddox out the door. This move is getting Maddox out the door. Post-June cut, $7.1 million in savings. That's what's going to get him out the door. I'm very excited for him, no doubt. They're going to tag Burns. We'll see. They need an edge rusher. They very much need an edge rusher. Bad. They need linebacker. They need edge rusher. They need safety. Sidney Brown's going to be out till October probably. He's going to be out for a while. And I think Sidney Brown is going to be one of our big Malcolm Jenkins type players. A hybrid player that can play corner and safety, which I love guys that have those backgrounds. At least try to cross train them. So see. Sent you something? What do you mean sent me what? Sent what? Let me know what you sent, because I don't know if you mean on the chat or somewhere else. Let me know. Tasty Kates. I like that name. Baldy with the super chest. The only way Reddick takes less money if guaranteed. Oh, yeah, I mean, up front, sure. We'll see how it goes. I mean, we don't even know if he's going to hold out yet. We got to wait. He's definitely a holdout candidate. He took a big pay cut when he got here. I mean, he really, it was like 3 years, 45 million, 30 guaranteed, so still a good amount of money, but not as much as a lot of these other defensive ends are making. But to play in Philadelphia like you wanted to, sure. But got to keep Hassan Reddick. They're not getting rid of Hassan Reddick. Not happening. Gwynn's August says, if only they had open tryouts, I'd give it to my all, gets us another ring. Oh, yeah, definitely. Definitely. But the defense needs about 7 players combined, starters and depth. Yeah, probably. They have a lot of holes right now. As much as people don't think there's holes, there's a lot of them out there. Just saw the thumbnail. Please tell me Bradbury not staying. I don't know. He put something on IG where he was like, there was a picture that he put up on Bradbury's Instagram that he was walking out he was exiting the tunnel of Seattle with his head down. And I don't know what that means. And they need to cut him. And it's not that hard. Everyone's like looking at his contract. Oh my God, we just paid him. It's so, dude, you just extend him a couple of years. You extend him a couple of years and then you cut him this way. You spread out. The dead cap is going to be in the single digits. It's not much. The Eagles can eat that up. It's no big deal. Will Wren says, give me Bryce Huff from Jets. He would be a good fit and only 25 or 26. Maybe he says, do you like any power backs either in free agency or the draft? I haven't looked at a lot of running backs in the draft, especially power back. I don't think the Eagles will ever have a power back, especially this year with Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore's not going to use a power back. He likes the natural pass catching running backs. He's not going to have a power back in here. Not going to happen. From what Kellen Moore does, he doesn't carry those types of backs. Yes, you could say that. Ezekiel Elliott was more of a nice balance, I guess. But, we'll see. Nothing crazy, just a video from Super Bowl stuff from the Kelsey about his bro playing tag. Oh, on Twitter? Okay, I'll check it out. I always check everything out. Then he says, yeah, a lot of holes. Howie basically did nothing last year, so we were a year ahead, and now we are a year behind. Well, it's not that Howie did nothing last year. He put too much faith into he didn't pay attention to certain positions, and having the coaching staff the way it was, the defense should have played a lot better this year. Okay. The whole defensive line hit a wall. No one produced the last 7-8 games of the season. Who played well the last 7-8 games? Nobody did. Tackling was god awful. The coaching aspect made it worse for what this roster looked like. And offensively, there's no fucking excuse. Your offense is loaded and couldn't do nothing with it. So it's not that Howie didn't do anything. It's just the coaches didn't carry out what Howie did, and it made us go backwards a little bit, little tiny bit. Yeah, there's a ton of running backs in free agency, no doubt. But I'm looking to obviously get DeAndre Swift back, or I don't know, Antonio Gibson maybe, or whatever his name is. I forgot. Anthony Gibson. I forgot his name. The guy from Washington. Gibson. I always forget his first name. Randy says, where does Hassan even fit in a 3-4, though? If it takes 3 big buys in the D-line, is that scheme so he has to play outside linebacker and will get forced into coverage? He's a 4-3 rush end. Yeah, that's why I say, can Josh Sweat fit in this system if he's in pass coverage? I don't know. I don't think Reddick. We need Reddick to be a monster on the edge. And unfortunately, if this takes him out to I think they're gonna switch. I don't think he'll play base 3-4 the whole time because he has guys that could. I think in certain packages he'll have, Reddick on the edge. But I get what you're saying. That's what I don't get. If you're playing a basic 3-4 the whole entire season, then who's gonna fit that? It seems like now you have 2 defensive ends that can't play that can't play outside linebacker because they shouldn't be used that way. You know what I mean? Aiden said you should do a mock draft. Yeah, I'll have. I don't have one right now. I don't have one right now. I'll probably do one a little later. Philly D said I'll take Cooper. House guys to get the likes up, like the channel. Appreciate it so much. Definitely hit the like button, guys. You guys haven't. Appreciate it. What was this, Joey? Who do you get the Super Bowl? Who do I want to win? Oh, the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, it's unwatchable. I hate both teams, but I want the 49ers to lose this shit badly. Lord Vaughn says Swift could go to if Derrick Henry was possible. No. That's the last thing I want, to be honest. I mean, you're not going to get Derrick Henry on a cheap deal. If you're looking for a running back that's going to get paid less, it's going to be anybody besides Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry's going to want a big short-term deal over 30 years old with a lot of money guaranteed. I don't think that's going to happen at all, but we'll see. I'm not putting too much into Derrick Henry anymore like I did at all. So find out. We will find out, my friend. Michael Lopez, right about Moore and power backs. He cut Xander Horvath last year. He was a fan favorite. Yeah, I don't think he carries the power, guys. He likes those natural pass catchers. MG says, do you think they cut, trade, or keep Maddox? They cut him. They could try to trade him, but I don't see where the value is going to be. It's had like 4 injuries in like 2 years. I mean, literally 3 injuries in 2 years, 4 injuries in 2 years. Had a lot of injuries. I think they cut him. It's a post-June $7.1 million cut. Let's see. I think he's a pure liability now. I think that's another reason they got Isaiah Rodgers in the building too. So PA Sports says, which safety do you like in the draft? I like the guy from Georgia. I forgot his name, but there's a guy in Georgia I really do like. Turns really well, is a ball hawk. I forgot his fucking name. Like I said, I just started doing all this draft stuff a few days ago, so I'm still trying to figure some things out. But I've been working on the draft the past few days. So because I'm really working on free agency and really working on this, really how they're going to tweak this roster out. Because March, we're going to be streaming every day. From March 1st, we're going to be streaming every day, every late morning, every day until the road to free agency. So, we'll see what happens by that time, Randy M says, have you done any rock crawling in that Jeep yet? I have not, but I don't know any spots. And I've been enjoying it the way it is right now. It's been great. It's been awesome. So, yo, Joey, I see the NFC being better than the previous 3 years. 49ers, Lions, Green Bay, Chicago with Caleb Williams. Yeah, we'll see with Caleb Williams. I'm sorry, but I see a lot of bust written all over it. I'm sorry, but we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, Lions will be great. Niners will be good again. We're gonna see what the Niners do. They're gonna be over the cap. A lot of money. They put a lot of money. If they lose this Super Bowl, man, it's gonna be wasted on all that talent that they have. Plus the only reason why they can have this much talent, just wait. Brock Purdy's gonna get paid so much fucking money. I mean, even if he doesn't win the Super Bowl, he'll get paid a shit ton of money. But if they win that Super Bowl, it's more money for Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy's going to get over $230 million. It wouldn't shock me if it jumps. The only reason why they can make more moves is because of Brock Purdy's deal and how cheap it is. Nate said the 3-4 thing, essentially 3 down and 4 standing with Hassan's broken thumb. I can't remember, but he was lining up hand in the ground or not. Yeah, I think he was. We got through chat for Ball Eagles. I hope Howie doesn't wait for the third wave. Yeah, I know. That's what they normally do. Like the first day, second day of free agency, it's like really quiet. The Eagles just sit and they sit and they sit. I hope that changes, because once they start missing out on players, fans get pissed off, and then what happens is these prices get way too high for players. By the time they start shoveling and trying to get more interest in players when it's too late, they just don't bite fast enough. But they need to have a plan, which they normally have a plan. Of course you have a plan going to free agency. They sit for a reason. They sit for a specific reason. I get it. It took, I don't know when that first signing was. What was the first signing last year? Was it the re-signing of Bradbury was the first signing? I think that was like within a week, few days to a week, probably. Nate said, if you take that Jeep camping, remember to reserve now for the summer in Nashville and state parks. It was crazy last summer. Yeah, I know nothing about any of that stuff, dude. I know nothing about it. But I'm having fun with it, though. Sean said, maybe we need to draft a tight end. Goddard is injury prone. He's getting to that point almost. I mean, somebody broke his forearm, so I can't really say that. I really wouldn't count that as injury prone as of right now, but it ain't looking too great. Ron said, I wonder if CJ will get paid by Detroit. I don't know if he's in their plans. They had a great season without him. Yeah, it really depends if they want to, they want to pay him as a safety. They want to pay him a top money as a safety. I mean, that's not going to happen. I mean, he missed a lot of games this year. So if he's not in their future plans, but, Chauncey is he just brings that swagger to a defense. He just brings that attitude. And the Eagles don't have any leadership right now. They don't have one guy that they rally around. They need to find that guy. And I know Chauncey would be one of those guys if he was here. You know what I mean? So we'll see. And he says, between Kellen Moore and EB, who is available right now? Do you think we made the right move? I think Kellen Moore was a good move. I wasn't against it like everybody else was against it. I think half of it was because he was with the Cowboys and how the run pass ratio is bad and they pass a lot. And they do pass a lot. I mean, 57 pass, fucking 48 run. Yeah, it's not great. It's not great at all. I think the only balanced season they had was, I think, the 22 season. The 22 season with the Cowboys, I think it was like 52-48, which wasn't that bad. They were more balanced that year, but he gets the most out of your quarterback. He gets the most out of these wide receivers, knows how to scheme. I mean, look at the routes that Keenan Allen has done in certain games. I mean, you look at it like the route chart, the route tree, and it's just like it's a night and day difference in what AJ Brown and Devontae Smith do in games. It's actually really scary. It's really scary. I'm not even kidding. I think you're getting a guy that's getting a lot of respect around the league, and I feel like if they just run the ball a little bit more, I feel like we'll be all right. And Kellen Moore's a good coach. I think Cowboys like Kellen Moore. I think once Kellen Moore got into these playoff games, that's when they started to blame Kellen Moore more than Dak Prescott. And yet again, a few years down the line, a couple years more down the line, they're still having issues. Same problem. But they won't, So he says CJ was great. He plays, but that problem was always hurt. That is true. Sometimes. Going on, Bird Gang. Says, I want Rice, McCaffrey, or Leggett. Yeah, those are 3 really good players. I got to see what they do in free agency before they go. I got to see what they get. I got to see if they fill running back. I need to see if they fill maybe a number 2 tight end. Maybe they go. I don't know. Maybe they go out and get somebody. I don't know. But we'll see. You'll see. Luke McCaffrey is another one. Yeah. I've been seeing some of his tape here and there. Pretty good. You know, says Moore was probably the best choice. I'm just excited to see competent competition. Yeah, and you know what? A guy that has a million different ideas how to run. This is going to be the best roster that, as long as Nick doesn't get involved too much, I think this is going to be the best roster that Kellen Moore has ever been around. I mean, look what he did with CeeDee Lamb and even Michael Gallup. And, I mean, seriously. I mean, some of these, just what the Cowboys had. I mean, I think Dak's best year under Kellen Moore was, I think, 21. You know, I think he almost threw like 5,000 yards that year. It's a great year. You know, they just choked. He said, well, people wanted to run the ball. EB isn't the guy you want. No, I know he doesn't run the ball much. He might run a little bit more than Kellen Moore, but Kellen Moore barely runs the football. That's the problem. You know? So, you know, we'll see down the road. But yeah, I mean, that's really it. I mean, we'll have another stream on Friday. We'll have 2 videos out tomorrow, already set up for tomorrow. And, you know, we'll be ready to go, man. We'll be ready to go to get this thing moving. And, you know, closer and closer we get to free agency to March. We'll get to that month, and we'll start to see how this whole thing develops. You know, we still need a linebacker coach. I hope Mike Caldwell gets hired. We'll see what goes on with that. 285 in the chat right now. If you guys haven't subscribed to the channel for Eagles news every single day. Make sure you like up this stream like crazy. Let's get 200 likes in here. Appreciate it so much from everybody. I'm only going an hour, so I'm probably going to end this. I just want to do a quick one tonight. I'm trying not to stay up too late every night. I've been staying up way too late, but that's not happening as of right now. But we'll be back on Friday with another stream. Shakedown on Saturday, obviously. And yeah, enjoy the Super Bowl this weekend. You know, we'll have a lot of fun watching the Super Bowl, and then it'll be the off season for every NFL team. You know, and then the Eagles will start to maybe maneuver some moves. Maybe some rumors will come out on, some rumors will come out on some of the other players on the roster, and figure it out. So, and other than that, that's pretty much about it. You guys enjoy the rest of your night, and I will see you guys on the next one. Shake Squad up, file side. Peace out, guys. Peace. Love you all. Peace out. Thanks.